BT's Business Report is sponsored by Dynamic Funds.
All right, welcome back. Your time right now is 6:13 on this Thursday morning. We bring in Mike Eppel standing by, smiling right here. Good morning. How are you?
Hello. Good. Thank you. How are you?
Doing all right. One of the words that has come out of the pandemic, at least when we follow the economy, is inflation. Inflation. What are you seeing today?
Seeing the highest cost of living increases in the United States economy, Melanie, since 1990. And consumers are certainly not happy about it. Kind of surprised I haven't seen the stock markets freak out, because this will likely lead to, again, the U.S. central bank raising interest rates. We've already talked about the Bank of Canada on red alert for inflation risks in our economy. So this is probably going to be the trend into next year. But as soon as, looking at an inflation rate in the United States of 6.2%, the cost of gas in the U.S., talk about the price for gas here. In the States, it's gone up 50% compared to a year ago. The cost of beef, for example, steak, up 24%. Baby food is up 8% compared to a year ago. And the thinking is this ripple effect will continue because the supply chain has not yet been figured out. Companies are raising wages to offset inflation, but then they're going to pass along likely higher prices to consumers. So it builds on itself. And inflation is a tough thing for central banks to combat, whether or not they even have the wherewithal to do so, because it takes so long for interest rate hikes to actually ripple through the economy. So this is something we're going to be talking about for a while. It's got political implications, it's got economic implications, and it's got market implications. So, inflation, top of mind this morning.
Mike, let's revisit what's happening at the pumps right now. We're hearing from Premier Ford, one of the promises way back was let's bring down some of the prices at the pumps. So now what?
Well, it was almost said as an aside yesterday as the Premier was talking about Highway 413 that he's planning to lower the gas tax by 5.7% before the budget next March, just ahead of the next provincial election. It's something that the Ford government actually promised the last go-round to cut the gas tax. That didn't happen. He's kind of making it to some extent, although it depended on how it was phrased. Is it contingent on the feds cutting their gas tax by 10 cents per liter? Because we know that's not going to happen. Or is the Ford government going to do this just ahead of the election as, again, a carrot to the electorate? It wasn't in the provincial budgetary update a couple of weeks back, which some people thought it should have been, again, to lower the cost of living. The other thing, too, Melanie, I think, it's interesting with this plan for the 413. You've got the 407 due south of that, sort of an underutilized highway. Is the next promise going to be as well to maybe get rid of those tolls on the 412 and the 418? Because that was promised before the last vote. It's been stuck in committee, the idea, but those roads, living here in Durham region, those toll highways are completely underutilized. Lake Ridge, busy, the 412 right next to it, next to nobody on it during rush hour.
But Mike, we all know promises are always kept, right?
Sure, but it depends
I'm
when.
kidding.
But it depends when they're actually implemented. So
No,
I have
we
a feeling
shall
there's
see.
going to be a lot of promises being made between now and next year's vote.
All right, while we're talking about Durham region, let's talk about what's happening in GM, at the GM plant.
Yeah.
Rolling again.
Yeah, back up in operation, and the first Chevy Silverado pickup truck rolled off the assembly line yesterday. This is one of the fastest retoolings of a plant, a restart, in automotive history. Remember, it was shut down a couple of years back. GM at the time didn't know what to do with the Oshawa plant after so many decades in operation, and then all of a sudden they went, oh, wait, we have a huge demand for pickup trucks. And they ramped her back up again. 1,800 jobs brought back to GM Oshawa. So those trucks, again, the eyeball test for General Motors, their dealership lots are much more empty, I suppose, than any of the other automakers. They have a huge inventory shortfall. So these trucks will be snapped up in short order, and it'll be interesting to see where they're exactly shipped. Are they coming to the Canadian market, stateside, or elsewhere?
Finally, for you, got about 30 seconds left, Mike. Riven making its debut at Wall Street and already making waves.
And this is an electric pickup truck maker, and backed by Amazon, Melanie, and it was supercharged yesterday, to say the least. Debuted at $78, went all the way up to $119, had a market value of $90 billion, which puts it ahead of Ford, just a little bit behind General Motors. Not sure about the grill on that truck, those headlights. Well,
different.
Look, the thing about electric vehicles is you can do a lot more with the front end because there is no motor to deal with. You don't have a grill, right? So you can be all sorts of creative.
Maybe it takes just getting used to.
Exactly. And that's a much more traditional looking pickup truck, certainly, than the Tesla Cybertruck, because you got to say it like that. And Ford F-150 is coming out, EV. GM's got some EVs planned as well. So this, again, the wave of the future. Get ready for it.
When I watch them head on, it looks like in the movie Cars, it looked like their faces.
A little bit. It
when
does
you
look
watch
like a
those
face,
headlights
doesn't it?
again. Anyway, I'll rewatch that and rewatch the movie too.